Hello again. This is Ingrid, and today we're going to talk about self-confidence. The last time we spoke about listening and the importance of listening and how you can develop listening skills, or rather, why you should become a better listener. Today we're going to talk about self-confidence. A lot of people think that self-confidence is something that you can naturally develop, and they're correct. A lot of people believe that it is a work in progress. Again, you're correct. A lot of people also believe that it has a lot to do with environment. Somewhat correct. Self-confidence is something that is all the above. You have to constantly work at it. You have to recognize that there's a need to develop it. And you have to realize that it's an ongoing process. But is it some place where you arrive eventually? Should you arrive one day, should you wake up and say, hey, you know what? I am self-confident. A lot of people will tell you that it's also innate. There's some people who were born with that confidence. There's some people who were born into an environment that fosters self-confidence. Self-confidence, regardless of whether it's environmental or whether it's a learned behavior, is something that helps you navigate this earthly realm. And it helps you navigate this earthly realm in such a way that you're able to, avoid a lot of the pitfalls if you do not have the confidence needed to overcome such things. How did I develop self-confidence? Well, I could tell you the whole story, which would take many hours or many videos. But the truth of the matter is, I developed self-confidence out of an environment of not being confident. The environment that I came from was one where, I had to overcome a lot of challenges, not like many other people. And those challenges could be as simple as, not feeling good about yourself, not feeling good about whether it's your complexion, whether it's your voice, whether it's your body image, whether it's the competitive environment, not feeling like you can compete in the environment that you're in. All those factors can affect your self-confidence. Regardless of what affects it, the truth of the matter is that you can still come out on top. Um, Feeling confident means that you have a level of trust. Self-confidence starts with trust. If you trust yourself, I heard Maya Angelou once said on Oprah many, many years ago. She said, if you can learn to trust the very first voice you hear, then you can learn to trust yourself. Self-confidence, like the word self suggests, is about you. So it starts with you. Many people believe that things that they want to, that they want to develop start outside of themselves. In most of these seminars, most of these workshops, you will learn that most of the stuff that you have to deal with, most of the stuff that you have to implement, you have to do it. Nobody else can do it for you. It's a journey that requires your input, and is a journey that requires you to be present. So if you're not present, do a self-check-in right now. Pinch yourself if you have to, and realize that self-confidence starts with you. It starts with you making a decision after recognizing that something needs to be done. So the first thing is recognizing that self-confidence starts with you. The second thing about being self-confident is that it doesn't mean that things in life are not going to come and hit you, that you might not get hit on the head or over the head, or that you might not feel like you're getting bulldozed in some situations and circumstances. It doesn't mean that being self-confident alienates you from this world and the struggles and challenges of this world. As a matter of fact, being self-confident has nothing to do with the challenges and struggles of this world. It has more to do with you and your response to those things. So it's like, okay, I have all this confidence in the world. I'm good. Nothing can break me down. Nothing can hit me. I cannot tell you that. I personally have been hit a lot by a lot of things, and it does affect your self-confidence. It doesn't make you feel like, you can't do it. There are days when you may not want to get out of the bed, and it's not because you're suffering with depression. It's simply you don't want to get out of bed because you know that the challenges and the circumstances and situations that you're involved in right now are things that make you feel so overwhelmed and they overpower you. And as much self-confidence as you have, you feel like you don't want to get up. Anyone who tells you that they want to get up every day and greet the world every day is in a good place. Um, and then they understand that these circumstances and challenges don't necessarily have to defeat or deflate them. That's where self-confidence comes in. Self-confidence says, you know what, I believe that I can, therefore I have to try. That's what this is about. It's about your effort. It's about you showing up even when you don't want to. So let's go back to the topic of self-confidence and the development of self-confidence, despite the odds, despite the challenges, despite the circumstances and situations in life that you encounter. Self-confidence is about the individual. It's about how that individual feels, their competency level. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rate yourself? Are you 1, shy and timid? Are you 2, shy but able to just show up? Or, there's a whole range of judging yourself. And that's the other thing. If you're self-confident, then you understand that judgment doesn't serve any purpose. The only purpose it does is to stop you sometimes. There is self-critique and self-introspection and self-analysis, but self-judgment is not something I believe in. If you judge yourself and you judge yourself harder than everybody else, then come on, you're not going to stand a chance. Part of not judging yourself involves you being more compassionate with yourself, giving yourself understanding and compassion and saying to yourself, you know what, I am human. I'm prone to error, prone to making mistakes. And in every mistake, there's a learning opportunity, an opportunity for growth. So self-judgment has to go when you're dealing with self-confidence. Like I said, there's such things as self-analysis. You can analyze the situation. You can analyze yourself if you want to. But at the end of the day, be compassionate towards yourself. The other part of becoming self-confident that I learned is other people's voices, other people's opinions. They cannot matter as much as we allow them to. I mean, everybody has an opinion. Didn't Jesus said, he who is without sin cast the first stone? That's what it is. Sin is judgment. Sin is about other people's opinions. So those are the two things that you need to really alleviate or try to minimize when you're developing self-confidence. The next thing about self-confidence is understand there are other people who will appear to be more confident than you are. And again, you can't worry about those people. You can't worry about their level of confidence. Remember I told you there was a line. Some are here, some are there, and other people are there. So if you judge yourself, you're always going to be somewhere in between. I think that being self-confident is important. I think that it comes with a knowledge of self and an understanding of self that dictates your actions. If you know yourself, it makes it easier to be yourself. So knowledge of yourself is needed in dealing with self-confidence. The first thing you need to do is know who you are. If you don't know who you are, then it makes it difficult to respond in any given circumstance. It's like the oak tree, the oak and the willow tree. I always make that allusion. Do you want to be an oak tree? Strong, firm, planted in the earth, nothing moving you. Your branches might, they might shake during a storm, but they're not going to be destroyed. Or do you want to be the willow tree, going every which way? You have to make that determination. You have to make that decision. If you stand firm and resolute in your beliefs, it is because you understand who you are and you believe in the things that you stand for. So self-confidence is the absolute knowledge of knowing who you are and leaning on that strength. The next thing about self-confidence is, for me, because I'm very spiritual and I don't come at any topic without the element of spirituality, So for me, being self-confident is about recognizing whose you are, not necessarily who you are. So who are you? And the only way to answer that question is to find out the source. For me, the creator is the source, and I understand who I am in relation to who God is. So it's an hierarchy theory, but because I understand who I am as spirit, it makes it easier for me to understand who I am in the flesh. So you have to know yourself from all aspects. That is physically, mentally, and spiritually. And that's the totality of who you are. I mean, you're flesh, but you enhance so much more. So I understand myself. And because I understand myself, it makes it easier for me to understand others. And because I operate in spirit, it makes it easier for me to understand where others are coming from. So I do not rely on my flesh or my emotions to tell me about other people or situations or circumstances. I rely on the spiritual element to help me understand people. So it is very important. It's the first part of self-confidence, actually, and self-development, to understand yourself in the grand scheme of things. I talked the last time about listening and how you need to learn to listen. The truth is that being self-confident relies on an innate ability. It's an ability that dictates your actions. It's an ability that tells you what to do, even when you don't know what to do. And it is a lot of people call it common sense, but I call it a spirit of discernment. It really is a spirit of discernment operating, because the spirit of discernment tells you how to behave in any given situation and how to respond and how to react. And there are moments when you don't need to respond or react. And as you grow in an understanding of that philosophy, of that teaching, then your confidence builds. It's like crossing the Red Sea, right? Once you cross the Red Sea, I mean, what else could you not overcome? Right? Even if there are challenges of not having food and stuff, you saw the Red Sea part. So it's easy to believe in miracles. It's easy to see that if it happens once, it can happen again. So self-confidence is also is a building block. You're building upon something every time you experience that whole element of confidence. You're actually building upon another experience where your confidence level came through, where you were able to understand that you can do the things moving forward that you can. So your experiences, the circumstances that you encounter, the issues that you are faced with, all those things lend credence to your self-confidence. Your self-confidence is not built by itself. It is built because you're able to tackle the things in this world that other people tackle and fall to pieces about. You're able to tackle those things, not get shredded, but you're able to get them and say, okay, I learned, and now I can go forward knowing that I've added to my repertoire of confidence. I'm confident that I did this thing before, and I'm confident that if it presents itself, I'll know how to tackle it again. So it's about experience, it's about knowledge, it's about knowing yourself, it's about relating to the creator, it's about understanding whose you are instead of who you are, it's about listening to spirit. That's whose you are. You're listening to your creator, you're listening to the spiritual element that structures your day and tells you who you are and what you're capable of doing. And how you're able to deal with things is based on that understanding. It's a culmination and a combination of so many different things, but it begins with you. It begins with you understanding that you have the confidence and you just need to build upon it. And that everything that's presented to you in this world, in this life, is designated and designed for you to build on that confidence. Final note on confidence. Just because you're self-confident doesn't mean that you have to go around and make others who are not feel as though they're not. People who have the ultimate level of self-confidence also understand that they're teachers, that they're designed that they're designed to help this process, that they are built in such a way that everything that happens to you is not just about you, it's about what you can do for the next person. And you become confident when you share. Self-confidence is not a selfish endeavor. It's a sharing moment. It's a moment to give back. It's a moment to help others. It's a moment where you can continue to grow, not just through your experiences and your circumstances and situations and the issues that develop in your life, but it's a moment that it presents opportunity for growth based on how you pass along what you've learned. I hope that you will continue to grow. I hope that you will continue to understand that being confident and being self-confident is not only something that you can practice at, but it's something that you can actually become. You can become the very thing which you seek. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again.